everyone, so this is my second take for taking this video because the first one I filmed the whole thing and it was all out of focus, so that was great. My video today is going to be a June wrap up. I read 9 books in June and I know it's quite far into July now, but I hadn't really had time to film it, so I'm filming it now. As I said, I read 9 books in June. There were 2 readathons, the Rainbow-thon and the biannual Bibliothon, which I participated in, although I didn't do great in either. The month started whilst I was on holiday and I read 4 books whilst I was there. I will link my blog post down below that I did about my holiday, the books I read on holiday. One of those, it was kind of the end of May, beginning of June, and so one of those will not feature in this video because I read it in May. The first book that I read on holiday was Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. I think probably everybody has heard of this book because it is just an amazing book. I can see why people love it, to be honest. It's about a girl who gets sent away by her dad to a boarding school in Paris for her final year, and it's about the friendship she makes and the relationship that she forms when she gets there with a guy called Etienne St. Clair. Yeah, it's a really good book. It's got humour, it's got romance, and it's just a really, really nice summer read, to be honest. Yeah, on Goodreads I think I gave this 4 stars. I'd probably give it 4.5. Obviously on Goodreads you can't. The next book that I read whilst I was on holiday was Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. This was such a good book. On Goodreads I gave it 3 stars, and looking back and thinking about it, I don't know why, because it was a really, really nice read. It's about this girl who lives in California and there was an accident and her mom has decided to just move away, move to the East Coast, but the car has got to get from California to the East Coast. And so Amy, with the help of Roger, take the trip and the car across the country. Because Amy won't drive, so the family friend Roger is enlisted to do the driving, basically. And it's about the friendship where they don't follow the route that the mom set. And it's about their journey across the USA, and it's really good. It's got like diaries and playlists and photos and receipts and all these things spread throughout, and it just really adds the feel of the book because it keeps track of where they are at that point in the book, because I know I started to get a bit confused at times as to how many states they travelled through and stuff, but yeah, it kept track of those for you. It's just a really good read. I'd probably rate this 4 stars now because it's really good. The next book that I read is The Spectacular Now by Tim Tharp. The cover of this, I was so excited to read it because, I mean, look at the cover, it's gorgeous and I really like green. And you don't get very many green books, but it was my most disappointing one. The main character, Sutter, reminded me of Holden out of Catcher in the Rye, and I hate that book. I just really don't like it. I know it's either a love or a hated book, and I hated it. But I liked the storyline. He sort of helps this socially awkward girl when he's on the popular guys and helps her on her way, helps her stand up for herself, and yeah, I like the storyline, I just didn't like the character. I think I rated this 2 stars? 2.5, 3? I'm not really sure, between 2 and 3. The next 2 books I read as part of the Rainbow-thon. I've already done a wrap up and I'll link that down below, so I'm not going to talk too much about them. But the first one is Small Steps by Louise Chauchat. It's a sequel to Holes, and yes, it's a bit of a younger book and it wasn't my favourite, to be honest. And the next one is The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. This is a collection of short stories about just different animals. Again, wasn't my favourite, but I do like his writing a lot. Then for the biannual Bibliothon, I didn't do too great in that one either, to be honest with you. For the children's book, I read The Butterfly Lion by Michael Morpurgo, and this book is amazing. I think I raved about it in my video, my TBR video. It is just the most beautiful story. It's about a young boy who saves this white lion cub because he lives in Africa, and then it gets sold to the circus and he has to move to boarding school in England, and it's just the most heartbreaking but heartwarming story. It's a children's book and the text is huge, but it's got really cute little pictures. Really cute little pictures. I would recommend this to anyone, any age. I know it's a kids' book, but Michael Morpurgo is nothing short of a genius when it comes to writing books. Yeah, just read it. I started reading the next one for Rainbow-thon and then also carried it on for the biannual Bibliothon because I hadn't finished it. And that is Regeneration by Pat Barker. I'm not a huge fan of books set in the war. I find them very difficult to read. I like war poetry, but novels I don't really take my interest very much. But this one was so good and I really enjoyed it. It's set in the mental hospital in Scotland called Craiglocker. It's a real place, and it's kind of, the characters are all real, but obviously some of the stories of that genuine experience is made up and stuff. It mainly follows the main doctor called Rivers, who is really nice, and I really liked him. And it also follows the stories of some of the patients. So Siegfried Sassoon is one of them, and Wilfred Owen, and there's another one called Billy Pryor and a couple of others. And it's just a really good book. If you want to read a book set in wartime but not with loads of fighting and gore and stuff, it only briefly touches on it as part of their like memories and stuff, which you'd expect if they're dealing with shell shock. So I would definitely recommend this. I think I gave it 4 stars, and yeah, it was actually really good. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it. The next one is Revolutionary Road by Richard Yates. I didn't finish this in the biannual bibliothon, but I started it, and I struggled with it a lot because, to start with, I didn't think I was going to finish it because I hated the main character so much. Frank, I just wanted to shake him by the shoulders and tell him to grow a pair, because he's just so selfish. Like, his wife was really upset about something and that he was the cause, and like, I would be upset because he's just so selfish and just thought she was being selfish when she wasn't. And I didn't like the plot very much. I thought it was quite shallow, but then again, it's more investigating the society rather than a story, so that's probably why. But yeah, and then all the characters I gradually got to dislike, and there was about 3 in the end, and 2 of them were children and barely featured. So I would probably read another Richard Yates one because I really like the style of writing. Like, I couldn't fault the style of writing. I still read on because of that, but the storyline and the characters I just couldn't stand. I really couldn't. And I know my friend's reading this and she's really enjoying it, so it's probably just me. The final book I read in the month of June is Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella. This is such a good book. I really enjoyed it. I read it so fast. It's a young adult. It's about a girl who deals with severe anxiety, really severe, and she won't get out the house. She wears dark glasses, and then her brother's friend comes around and accidentally like walks into the room she's in because she really doesn't like talking to people and stuff, and she panics. But then she begins to make friends with him, and he's really patient with her, and it's about her sort of, I wouldn't say overcoming, but learning to deal with and working through her anxiety. And the characters were likeable, and the storyline was just really good, and it was so easy to read. Yeah, I would definitely recommend this. I think I gave it 4 stars, but I probably rate it 4.5, like writing a review, which I do plan to do at some point. I think it's so important to have good novels about mental illness as well, and things like anxiety, because they're so relevant and people just don't understand it. I mean, like, I learn a lot from reading it, and I know that if anyone I know suffered from anxiety, then I would be better off to help them, and that people with anxiety will probably feel less alone having books to read that deal with the issue. That's all of the books that I read in June. I have quite a lot lined up to read in July. I'm filming this, as I said, like on the 8th, and I've already read 2 and I'm working through a 3rd at the moment. So yeah, I should probably get quite a few read. And it's nearly the summer holidays, which just makes everything better, doesn't it? Feel free to like, subscribe, tell me what books you read in June. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye!